What an exciting model kit. The Fouga Magister CM170. This one in the paint scheme of Patrouille de France, the French aerobatic team. Think Red Arrows, but French, or Fletcher Tricolore, but French. Whichever is your local national team, think of that, but the French one. This is not their most recent aircraft. This is actually their second most recent aircraft, the most recent being the Dassault Dornier Alpha Jet, which we will do at a later date. I've already done the fuselage with the cockpit. The cockpit is quite basic. It has some raised parts for you to paint on the little control panel to make it look like it has some gauges and buttons, but it's quite basic. The main focus of this though is mainly obviously the dazzling display markings of this aircraft, having the French flag on the top of the wings and on the unique V-shaped tail section as well. So taping up was definitely the easiest way to do this, particularly because I'm a brush painter. So I brushed on the white, and the white took several layers. It's not easy, and what you'll actually find is at some points there's some like jumps in this video, and that's because I was streaming this, as you can see, and what I was doing is between sort of some areas where I was trying to let things dry or cure, I was playing War Thunder. So you'll notice some little gaps. So the first way to try and allow myself to have some time was I decided I was going to paint the fuselage whilst I waited for the wings to dry. Now, I have never done this ever before. I am someone who normally will put the whole model together and then paint it. Where in this instance, for whatever reason, I was like, no, I'll paint it as I go. And the end result looks really good, but there are a few issues with it. But that's not really related to the painting, interestingly. But you'll have to wait till the end to see that. Don't know why I painted that paint lid. Just I think I've got a little bit of blue on it. Either way, we're back on another layer of white. White is notoriously hard to brush paint a solid, large area. You either have to go quite thick or do lots and lots of thin layers. I was trying to do lots and lots of thin layers, but it just wasn't ideal. In terms of the paints, the back of the box does actually tell you what you can use, and I use that pretty much to determine all of my paint colours, because it gives you, from what I remember, it gives you the Hella colours, which are the same as the Humbrol colours. Is it Humbrol? The Airfix colours, because obviously at one point they were the same company, but now Airfix is owned by Hornby, and Hella is a German company who did this boxing. Weirdly German anyway. Moving on. Yeah, they've got the Airfix or Humbrol, Hella and Revell paint charts on the back, so you can easily work out what's going to be best for you in your area. Oh, that's so satisfying peeling that off. You're going to see that obviously quite a few times throughout this, so don't worry. We're going to see a lot of them. You can see I've jumped there, so I was letting the white fully cure, because the worst thing you want to do when you've done the white is have it peel off again, because it's the hardest one to paint back on and fill in the gaps and make it look smooth. The red was quite easy, I'll be honest with you. It went on in about 2 coats, I think. It was super easy. The first thing I did on all of them was do a white coat first, because then you're sealing in the tape with a white, so if anything goes underneath, it's going to be the same colour you've already put down. You can also use a primer, that'll work just as well. But obviously I'd already primed it, and I wanted to just try and make sure it was that solid white. Didn't really have much cleanup to do from that. I was really happy with it. It looks, to be honest, quite fantastic. The next bit after that was going to be the blue, but I wanted to see sort of how it looked. So I think I left it for a little bit. Yeah, it looks like I left it for a bit. Did the front landing gear, because that has to go in relatively early. I do end up messing up the landing gear a bit, but we'll talk about that later. So did the white coat again, and then I'm going on with the blue. Again, trying to do quite thin layers. So the first one always looks rubbish, and then it builds up and it builds up, and it has a more brushless look by the end. I'm really learning how to do that now, and unfortunately the aqua colour thinner that I had, because I was using paintbrushes to get the thinner out of it, got contaminated. I have now bought a new one, so it is white again, so it will make it a lot easier moving forward, because that developed a lot of problems with sort of random colours appearing in paint when you varnished it. It was not ideal. So I was really proud at this point. I felt I'd nailed the wing. It looked gorgeous. I was so addicted to just putting it on and making it look like one giant model. I thought it looked amazing. And I loved it so much. Like, I just absolutely adored it. I am touching up the colours, as you can see here, just to make sure they have like those lovely clean lines. Then I pop them over to dry, and again, I wanted to make sure that everything was in place for them to be stuck on and to work properly, because they just look so good, you know? The next bit I had to do on there was the engine intakes, because they went on there. So you can see they're now on there because I stuck them on and then played a game of War Thunder, I think. So I'm moving on to the tail section now, because I wanted to make sure I got this done before anything else, really, because this is again a bit that could go wrong, and if it went wrong I'd just bin the model, basically. So I think I've already done the white. Doing the red now. Again, it wasn't very hard. The tail was weird because I ended up freehand painting the blue bit you're going to see in a bit. I don't know why, it just felt like it was going to be easier. In the end it ended up with a slightly wonky line, and I just thought, it'll do. Again, this is me learning and developing, you know. You can't learn and develop unless you try to do new things. And again, relating to what messed up, well, we're going to see some interesting things later on. Just, let me tell you, this was a lesson as a model to do. So yeah, the tail section ended up looking probably not as good as it should have done, and that's again just because I decided to hand paint it. But on the plus side, hand painting straight lines is not something I'm a lot better at. It's fine. It's not the end of the world, you know. Yeah, it ended up looking good. The end is always what matters, isn't it? And you know, it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. So we got that stuck on, and that's one of the most unique bits about this aircraft. There are two unique bits about this aircraft. One, it was massively underpowered, and people were always impressed by the Patrouille de France and the Diablo Rouge, which was the Belgian display team as well, who you may see some stuff at the end about them. But yeah, they both handled this aircraft remarkably, given its low power value, much like the Patrouille Aguila, the Spanish display team, does now. So jumping onto another stream, as you can see, it's very much nearly finished at this point. What I decided to do here was basically get all the little bits stuck on. I don't actually know what they're called. They're like round bits that just sort of go on the tail section and are on the front section of the aircraft. They're just there. I genuinely don't know what they are. I'm assuming there's some sort of marker that they can use, because it's not on the training aircraft, like the normal training aircraft, I believe. I did make the mistake of using the wrong blue though, which I didn't realise until I started trying to blend everything onto the wing. I was like, these don't blend. Why aren't these blending? Because you used the wrong colour. That's why they're not blending. So we'll see that in a moment. I've also, as you can see there, I'm doing the landing gear as well. So getting all the undercarriage done, making it a standing model. And what my plan was to finish it all off, have it like dry or cure, however you want to say, for like the glue, so that then I could finish it off the very next day with the decals. Now, I didn't stream. I don't think I streamed either of these bits, actually. I think I just did these off stream. I was having a really, really busy week at work, so I just didn't feel up to it. And when I finished the actual model itself, was sort of prior to just having my vaccine appointment, so I wasn't going to have time to stream it and then go for my appointment, because that was like 30 minutes away as well. So unfortunately this isn't all streamed, but I still remembered to record it, which I feel like is, you know, a win in these books. I'm trying to make sure I record everything from now on so we can keep these videos going, because I really enjoy sharing these. So the undercarriage, for whatever reason, I decided I was going to keep pulling it off camera, which is really, really helpful. You can see again, it's quite basic. It's basically like the wheel part, two parts of the covering, and then there's a secondary part that goes on attaching to the undercarriage to the actual fuselage of the aircraft. It's one of the most basic layouts of, I mean, if you built any any sort of modern jet trainer, you know what this is going to be like. You know, it's not complex at all. It's really, really easy. It's that sort of level. But to be honest, yeah, I thought the aircraft looked great at this point. It was looking really, really kind of snazzy. I'm going to be honest with you. So now we're onto the decal. So I started off by giving it a rub with the microfiber cloth, and this is to try and smooth it out, because when you varnish it after you painted it, it will sort of create a layer on top of another layer, and sometimes there's going to be like bumps in that, but the bumps will sort of go away if you rub it with microfiber cloth, and it will sort of rub down on one of the layers into the other and make it smooth. So that's what I did. But as you can see here, Hella decals, I remember these being kind of crap, to be honest, and I wasn't disappointed. All they did was break, and this is what ruined the entire kit for me in the end. And I honestly, it's a ruined kit. If I was doing a site to show it to someone, or like to give to someone, it would have been a complete write-off. I would have thrown it away. Luckily, I fixed it for the review. But yeah, like you can see all of the white lines I've done, they just crack. And I don't know why. Like I tried leaving them in like the water for like a long time to help them slide off. I've tried leaving them for a little bit and giving them a little bit of a nudge with my thumbs. I tried doing all sorts and nothing worked. Whatever I did, it didn't work. So I had to just try and make do with what I had. And I'll be honest with you, I put varnish on at the very end, and even after I varnished, some of them came off. I don't know what it is. I to be honest, I feel like these were particularly worse than they previously were. And given that the new company's bought them, and I think is using all the original Hella stuff to like manufacture them, I don't think there's anything like different. So I think it is literally just I had a bad batch of a company who already make kind of rubbish decals, in my opinion. Compared to like Airfix, Rebel, Hasegawa, they're definitely like lower tier. I've even had like independent decal companies who make better decals than these do. So and it's something I definitely remember about Helicats as well, so I don't think it is just this one-off. However, don't let it put you off. The decals are amazing, they look great, they've got good detail, the DPI seems quite good on them, like the colour depth is really there, particularly on like the Patrouille de France bits, they look really, really pretty. It's just a shame that they kept breaking. So yeah, the first image you can see is the right side. It looks actually kind of great. The second side, however, the gold decal, it's not there, it's half gone. But you'll also see the Diablo Rouge one, which I did a good few years ago with some decals from Tomcat Decals. But I hope you really, really enjoyed this. I have had an amazing amount of fun making these with you guys on the stream as well. Again, go over to Ms Modeler on Twitch. See you later. Bye!